Hey everyone, today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, resort options at Walt Disney World. We'll be diving into the four categories and what you can expect at each property tier. If you're trying to decide which resort type would work best for your family's next Walt Disney World vacation, then you have to stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Christy Fatal with Palm Park and Sea Travel. We have over 15 years of experience in the meeting, event, and travel industry. We customize vacations for our clients to all Disney and Universal properties. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell on YouTube to keep getting expert tips, reviews, trip ideas, and more. Okay, so as I said earlier, this video is going to be all about the resort options at Walt Disney World. The on-property resorts can be broken down into four categories: value, moderate, deluxe, and villa. There is a fifth category called good neighbor hotels, which are hotels that are close to Walt Disney World Resort, but aren't technically on property. So these are really great options for many families. But today's video is going to be focusing solely on resorts that are on Walt Disney World property. But be on the lookout for a video coming in the future. We're going to be breaking down all the info on good neighbor hotels. Okay, so first and foremost, staying on Disney property is definitely our recommendation to clients who want the full Walt Disney World experience. Disney as a whole is all about telling a story, painting a picture, and creating a complete experience for their guests. The resorts on property definitely aren't an exception to this experience. Each resort has been carefully crafted and immerses you in a story and keeps the magic going outside of the parks. Plus, staying on property does come with perks that hotels offsite just don't have. There are so many resort options on Walt Disney World property, more than 25. And again, that's on property. So, how do you go about selecting the one that's going to be the best fit for you and your family? Well, again, to make it easier, Disney does separate its resorts into four categories. So you have value, moderate, deluxe, and villas. The villas are part of the Disney Vacation Club, but they can be booked by non-members pending availability. The pricing usually follows the same model that you'd expect given the name of the category. So for instance, like value is going to be a better price per night compared to a deluxe hotel. And then the same goes for like the features on site and then the availability of different amenities. So let's do a full breakdown of each category for you. First up, we have value. The value properties include all-star movies, all-star music, all-star sports, art of animation, Pop Century, and the campsites at Fort Wilderness. Most of the rooms in this category are standard and on average about 260 square feet. You can expect to have a basic bath setup with the sink usually separate from the toilet and shower tub. Thank you, Disney. And your bedding could be either two doubles or a king. Some rooms in this category are family suites that come in at approximately 520 square feet. They do have a similar setup as a standard, but then you can expect double the baths and then add in some different convertible sleeping options. We stayed at a family suite at our trip back in August. And let me tell you, the extra space for 5 people was well worth that extra cost. And then those convertible sleeping options, my kids still talk about the table that turns into a bed. It's like on their bucket list to do again. They talk about it probably once a week. So keep that in mind when you're looking at different options. The views that you can find at these value properties will differ from looking over parking areas to wooded areas to swimming pools. But then remember, the better the view, the higher the price. As for the pools at these resorts, they are typically themed and they could be interactive, like Art of Animation does have a splash pad. But the major difference in the pools is none of the value resort pools have water slides. And then when you're talking about recreation, the options can be limited. So they do offer maybe poolside games, a playground, and then an occasional movie outside at night. Your dining options are slim too, with your only options being a food court or the pool bar. And then finally, the transportation that's provided by Disney, which is a perk of staying on site, will usually be via bus. There are exceptions to this, and that is the Art of Animation and Pop Century are on the Skyliner route. Okay, so moving on to the moderate category, these resorts include Caribbean Beach, Coronado Springs, Port Orleans French Quarter, Port Orleans Riverside, and the cabins at Fort Wilderness. The standard rooms in this category are a little larger, coming in at about 300 square feet, with a similar bath setup as a value resort, but they might add in an additional sink. 2 queen beds or 1 king is the standard, but some do offer that 5th sleeper option. Otherwise, 4 is going to be the max in a standard room. The views offered are similar as well, but they might also have an option to have a room facing a natural body of water. And then your pools, other recreation, and then dining options are a little more robust with the addition of, they have quiet pools, water slides, bikes, a health club at some, and then at least 1 table service restaurant and a lounge at each moderate resort. Your transportation here is also typically bus, but there might be a boat service from different resorts to Disney Springs. And then there is 1 moderate resort on the Skyliner, and that is the Caribbean Beach Resort. So next we have the deluxe category, which, as you can tell from the name, it's going to offer you the most amenities. The resorts in this category are Animal Kingdom Lodge, Boardwalk Inn, the Contemporary, Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, Polynesian Village, Wilderness Lodge, and the Yacht and Beach Club. Deluxe resorts offer a variety of rooms and sizes. So we're talking anywhere from 350 square feet to about like 440 or 450 square feet. The bath situation just varies by room type, and includes typically like what you'd find in a moderate, but probably in a different configuration for more privacy. And then if the room is larger, there might be several baths, which is always a perk. The bedding configuration is just like a moderate property with nothing smaller than a queen. However, the thing that does set a deluxe apart would be the views, the recreation, the dining, and the transportation. You can expect that all the pools are going to have water slides, hot tubs, or other water features like a water splash pad and playground for kids. And then you might have spa services available. You can definitely expect to have more table service restaurants here, and then room service, and then maybe even character dining on site. And then last thing, these resorts are typically in close proximity to a park. So you have a multitude of transportation options that open up to you, which is really awesome, especially if you're going to a bunch of different parks throughout your stay. So you can expect to have access to buses, the Skyliner, boats available depending on where you're staying. But then you can also add in the option of walking and then monorails at some of these deluxe category resorts. And then the last category we have to walk through is the villa. So villas are a part of the Disney Vacation Club program, but you can also book these if you're a non-member, just pending availability. The villas can be found at some deluxe properties, but there are also 3 resorts that are just completely dedicated to Disney Vacation Club, and they only offer villas. So your rooms are going to be villa style. So you can expect more amenities, and then ranging all the way from a studio to a 3-bedroom. And then your bath and bed configuration just varies by room size, but everything else is similar to a deluxe property. These resorts include Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary, Boulder Ridge Villas at Wilderness Lodge, Copper Creek Villas and Cabins at Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Villas at Jambo House and Kidani Village, Beach Club Villas, Boardwalk Villas, Old Key West, Polynesian Villas and Bungalows, Riviera Resort, Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa, and the villas at Grand Floridian. Okay, so a lot of information I'm throwing at you, right? Let's back up and we'll recap all 4 of these categories for you in a little bit of a more concise way. So your value is going to be your least expensive option, but it's going to offer you the least amount of space in a standard room. This category is still going to give you early entry to all the theme parks and offer Disney transportation, usually just by bus, with the exception of a few being on the Skyliner. Your dining options are limited with a food court or pool bar as your dining options, and they don't typically offer table service restaurants. Pools are usually themed, but none of the properties have water slides. So value resorts are great if you're on a tighter budget, but you still want to experience the magic of staying on property. These are going to be that extension of a theme park. They're going to keep you in that Disney bubble for less of a cost. Your moderate category is going to offer you more amenities than a value resort, with these standard rooms being slightly larger and potentially an extra sink in the bathroom. Your pools are going to offer water slides at all moderate resorts, and then they're also going to have quiet pool options. You can expect that this category will also have more in terms of recreation and offer at least one table service restaurant option and a lounge. The main transportation option here is still going to be bus, with some having boat service to Disney Springs. And then one of the moderate resorts is also on the Skyliner. Moderate resorts do give you early entry access to theme parks. So you can take advantage of that perk basically at any resort staying on site. So these resorts are a really great option if you do want more amenities during your stay, but you don't want to pay the deluxe prices. Okay, so our third category, deluxe, there it's going to give you the most space, the most amenities on property, but they do come with the highest price tag. They offer multiple table service restaurant options, the most elaborate pools and recreation, and the closest proximity to the parks with most transportation options, as well as walking in some cases, which is really great. These resorts do give you access again to that early entry feature that we talked about, but this category also lets you take advantage of something called extended evening hours in the parks on select nights, which can be a huge perk if it works with your schedule. Ultimately, this tier is going to be best for families that have more money to spend or are maybe celebrating a special occasion. Another popular way to stay at a deluxe resort is to do what is called a split stay. So you'd start your trip at a value property or a moderate property and then end at a deluxe. It's a really great way to experience this top tier without having to pay the cost for your entire trip. The villas are going to be everything a deluxe category resort would offer, just more space. So that's an easy way to think about that category. So how do you decide? That is where we come in. So unless you know specifically which resort you want to choose for your vacation, when we provide a proposal, we typically source one resort from each category that we know is going to fit your family best based on what we discuss in our planning call. This allows you to compare and contrast the different tiers and really get an idea of what's going to be best for your family. And a lot of factors come into play here, guys. So the size of your group, the ages of your kids, your budget, your must-haves at a resort, which theme parks you plan on visiting. There's so many factors and then many more to consider when we're putting together a customized proposal for you and your family. For each proposal, we'll also include a resort map, a video, and then photos of each resort that we are proposing to you. We also create a pro and con list of sorts for each property. So think of why you should stay here and why you shouldn't stay here list is included in each property to help summarize each option for you. So when you are ready to start planning your next Walt Disney World vacation, reach out. Choosing a resort can be totally overwhelming, we get it, but it should also be one of the most exciting parts of planning your trip. Click the link below and you can set up a complimentary consultation and we'll get started on your customized vacation proposal. It's one of our favorite parts of the planning process. So we can't wait to hear from you to start helping you plan your next Walt Disney World vacation. Talk soon, guys.